Opiates are very easily fallen into addiction because we don't see them as a problem. They're something that's prescribed to us by someone we trust.
It was an FHP trooper who found 2 bodies on the side of I-4 on New Year's Eve. Their bodies limp from a drug overdose.
You look at the folks on I-4, a perfect example of a married couple with children. Neither one has a criminal record, but they are addicted to these opioids.
Hello?
At the end of the day, some scumbag sells and sells and sells this poison, and eventually they die.
It's not a guarantee. In addiction, nothing is a guarantee.
Tonight, News 6 investigates the opioid epidemic, a crisis not just in this country, but for our community. Exhausting resources, threatening safety, destroying families by a quick fix that proves fatal for far too many. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Austin. Over the next hour, News 6 explores the lives of those faced with addiction. Cases like this couple. Their bodies found outside their car on the side of I-4 New Year's Eve. 3 small boys in the back seat of their car, unaware their parents were gone.
If we hadn't been able to take them in, they'd be orphans. So, I mean, they're orphans. They don't have any parents.
Tonight, News 6 returns to talk to those brothers as they try to rebuild what the word family means in a new home.
It can happen to anybody at all. I've met people, kids who've grown up in church, had families that loved them, didn't have a single addict in their family, and they're just as bad off or worse than I was. And if you are one of those people that are sitting there thinking, oh, I've never seen any, addiction has never affected me, you need to take a closer look.
Now listen, this is a tough topic, often kept a secret, but there is no hiding this nationwide crisis. Too big to tackle as a whole, but we can start at home. If not for the health of the community, maybe from the heart, for kids like these 3 boys. They didn't know New Year's Eve would be the last time they saw their parents alive. Kirsten O'Connor shows us their life after loss.
It's New Year's Eve. A stalled car, hazards flashing.
Eastbound I-4 to 124 was now advised, and there's 2 adults laying outside the vehicle asleep and 3 babies inside the vehicle.
3 crying boys lifted from the back seat. Mike Belial still can't believe those kids are his grandsons, and the 2 parents slumped outside the car, his daughter and son-in-law.
They actually were druggies, but it's probably not what you typically think of as a drug addict. It looked fairly normal and everything, but I mean, the part about Heather and Daniel is the chaos it created.
Heather and Daniel Kelsey were married in 2010, and soon enough were proud parents of 3 boys, Joey, Aiden, and baby Nicholas. Mwah. But Mike says problems seemed to follow his daughter, and he worried about his grandsons.
I mean, I made the statement to her, you and Daniel have got to start taking care of these kids. You're feeding them, but you're starving them to death. You're feeding them all junk.
In 2016, the Kelseys moved into Mike and his wife Lynn's home in Quincy, Florida.
I knew that both of them were withdrawing from something. The only thing I didn't know was drug of choice. And that month they were living by themselves, I'd actually said, you know what, they've done it. They've made it.
They spent Christmas at the Kelseys' new home. But days later, as the family gathered at Mike's brother's home in Gotha, they got the call.
The social services people called us on Saturday, and what are we going to do? Everybody's talking about you taking it, what are we going to do? And I said, I'm 58, I got to think about this, I don't really know if we're able to do this or not. And Sunday morning I called them and said, yeah, we're going to take all of them. It takes a little bit for it to sink in. And then it's like, yeah, I got to do this. There's not a choice here.
A choice Mike admits no one ever prepares for.
There's more people out there like Lynn and I than everybody'd like to think. There's a lot of grandparents, older grandparents, actually older than us, that are raising these same kind of kids. So, I mean, they're orphans. They don't have any parents.
It was months before autopsy reports were released. Fentanyl, like so many other deaths, was to blame for the Kelseys' overdoses.
All right.
8 months later, 5-year-old Joey, 2-year-old Aiden, and baby Nicholas are still living with their grandparents. Lynn says their recovery has been a journey.
Well, when they first got here, they had something called night terrors. So it's not like anything sparked it, but he would say, "You're killing my mom, you're killing my mom." And he just was talking in his sleep, and he would say, "I see your eyes, I see your eyes. I'm so sorry, it's all my fault, it's all my fault." And for the longest time, he'd always say, "It's all my fault." Everything was all his fault. And so again, it was just trying to figure out, what they seen. But maybe since Heather was found slid down against the van, that maybe when she was, I don't know, convulsing or whatever she was doing, that Daniel might have been trying to shake her or whatever, and Joey's car seat was there to where he could see it, and maybe thought, "You're killing my mom," and watching her go down. And then maybe Daniel looked at him and realized what he just saw, and could have been through the window saying, "Look at my eyes," trying to get his attention and saying, "It's all my fault, I'm so sorry," I mean, we only can speculate.
Happy birthday, dear Joey. Happy birthday to you.
They've started calling us Mommy and Daddy.
Mike tells us by the time the youngest of his grandsons is 18, he will be 75. He still hasn't forgiven his daughter for her choice that forever changed his life. But he won't let his grandsons forget their parents.
I want the people that are doing heroin, fentanyl, crack cocaine, even alcohol, all the stuff they're doing, I want them to see exactly what they're doing to their family, particularly the children, but their entire family. It's total chaos and destruction. This is not the way anybody wants to get their grandkids or their nieces, nephews. This is not how it works. Their parents are never going to get them back. They're gone. And people need to quit being nice about it, and they need to start saying, "You're a drug addict, you need to get some help."
I think they've blossomed and come a long way, and I think that they just have so much more to do and to grow with, and they're just going to be awesome little beings.
All right, you can do it, Swing.
And they absolutely are.
They're adorable.
I spent almost a whole day with that family, and I know a lot of us were waiting for that update to see how those 3 boys were doing after seeing that dash cam video in June. It was just scary, and a lot of parents were asking us what happened to those boys.
Yeah.
And they are doing so well. But I have to say, and I told you this earlier, Matt, going into that house and seeing that beautiful family, it could have been my house. It could have been my mom's house, my niece.
Could have been any of ours.
Any ours.
You look at the pictures, you just would never guess. Thank you so much for joining us for this News 6 special report, a report that cannot and will not stop here. Our initiative and push for results will continue in the weeks and years to come. In the meantime, our phone bank will stay open until 11:30 p.m. You can talk to specialists with New Season Recovery Center right now. Don't hesitate. Call that number if you need it, 888-436-6665. And of course, you can find help, our investigations and more at clickorlando.com/opioidnation. News 6 at 11 is next.
But first, News 6 is getting results and driving change. Tonight, lawmakers officially filed a bill to make texting while driving a primary offense. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ginger Gadsden in for Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. So that means if the bill is passed, you could get pulled over just for texting. It is the result of a 14-month-long mission by our own anchor Matt Austin after he was hit by a young man who police say was texting while driving.
Now, I can't tell you everything that happened that night because my baby's car seat slammed so violently into the back of my head, it knocked me out, gave me a severe concussion, and 10 staples in my scalp.
Since then, Matt and our News 6 team have been to Tallahassee pushing for stronger texting laws. State lawmakers say they needed to see the data, so we gave it to them. And as News 6's Nadine Yanis reports, we are now getting results. She joins us live now. And Nadine, Matt really worked with a state representative who had a personal mission to make the roads safer and got this bill filed today.
He did. He teamed up with State Representative Emily Schlossberg. Like Matt, she too was involved in a distracted driving crash. That one took the life of her twin sister. Last legislative session, she introduced a bill with Matt's help trying to toughen our texting laws, but was stonewalled in Tallahassee. It didn't go anywhere. But she says with her persistence and with Matt's persistence here at News 6, they're now getting driving change, and House Bill 33 was officially filed today.
In his push for driving change, News 6 anchor Matt Austin teamed up with State Representative Emily Schlossberg, joining her mission to stop distracted driving at the very spot where her twin sister and 4 friends were killed in a crash back in 1996.
The reason that I'm here is to ensure that others don't go through what my family and I went through.
Schlossberg became a state representative for the sole purpose of making Florida's roadways safer. Right now in the state, texting behind the wheel is a secondary offense. You could only get a texting ticket if a police officer pulls you over for something else. In the last legislative session, Schlossberg's bill to toughen that law went nowhere. And that's where she says News 6 helped change that this year.
I have to really commend News 6 for helping provide this office with data, with statistics, with numbers, because they were up here, I'd say probably 2 or 3 times last session, really helping out.
It was in Tallahassee Matt Austin confronted Florida lawmakers, never letting up on the gas.
And you don't think the roads are dangerous right now?
I understand what your questions are doing right now, and your angle here, but understand that I'm all for looking at the data.
News 6 provided that data to lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House himself, showing stricter texting laws save lives. Schlossberg says she now has the support, some big backing on a big bill. This year, she is confident will pass.
Let me tell you something. News 6, you're getting results. I believe my twin sister is looking down and smiling at this. Like, she's incredibly proud. So it's very emotional, and I'm very excited.
So Matt Austin also worked with local law enforcement, even traveled to Tallahassee with them to get this bill filed and hopefully passed. We're going to get reaction from FHP. They're also going to break down the bill on what it would mean for you behind the wheel if it gets passed. But Lisa, what we're hearing is that everyone is confident that Matt got some results for us today.
Nadine Yanis reporting live for us. Thank you. And our coverage does not stop here. This is clickorlando.com/driving change. And there you can learn more about our efforts to make distracted driving a primary offense. And you can share your story with News 6. Again, that's at clickorlando.com/driving change.
It will be our mission to help drive change in Florida's impotent texting laws. And no, it's not because I got hurt. Lots of people are getting hurt. The reason I'm doing this. When we started our driving change campaign last fall, it was, to say the least, an uphill climb. Last session, 2 House bills never even made it out of their committees. But now, with research in hand and studies from other states, House Speaker Richard Corcoran is 100% behind a new bill that he believes will end up on the governor's desk.
What we've done is just take the texting and driving ban that we had as a secondary offense and moved it to a primary offense.
But House Bill 33 is more than that. The latest effort to strengthen enforcement of the state's ban on texting and driving has a number of enhancements. If passed, the new law would add 3 points to your license for a second offense within 5 years of the first. Add 2 points to your license for any texting and driving offense in a school zone. And add a whopping 6 points to your license if the act of texting and driving causes a crash. Corcoran also made sure the bill addressed the possibility of racial profiling brought up by a number of officials in both the House and the Senate.
Well, I think the biggest issue, and historically justifiably, is that this is going to allow another venue for people who are not acting principally to pull people over without cause. There's already laws that say that you have to have policies in place for your law enforcement officers that protect from that kind of behavior.
The new bill also has bipartisan support. Jackie Toledo for the Republicans and Emily Schlossberg for the Democrats.
I'm the only walking survivor of the crash.
Emily Schlossberg, who lost her twin sister in a car accident, has been an advocate for this for some time.
The only reason I'm here is because I want to make sure that others don't go through what I and my family went through. We have to do something. It might not
The
be
speaker also singled out News 6 for our work in bringing this problem of texting and driving to light.
Hats off to you guys. I think you guys do a good job of making people aware of what's going on, what's not being done, and what needs to be done. And so I think that it's been correctly reported that you guys have had a great impact on making improvements to our state.
Speaker Corcoran also told me today, as the father of 6 kids, 2 of his teens are now driving. He says he doesn't allow his own kids to drive with their cell phones. So good to see things are moving in the right direction. Wheels are turning.
I'm stunned because you went after him and he was not giving you the time of day.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, dude. He's like, no. He almost ran away.
And
now he's like on board.
He looked up the stuff and he agrees.
I love it. I mean, you never see
politicians.
God bless him, man.
You gotta tip the cap to him for sure.
For real.
Now to a News 6 investigation. Aramis Ayala dodging questions. The state attorney refuses to say how she is spending your money in her lawsuit against the governor.
Now, the case stems from the state attorney's decision to never seek the death penalty. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest has been trying to get answers for you. And Mike, you met up with the state attorney just a few days ago.
That's right, Ginger. Now, anyone who watches this newscast regularly or follows me on social media knows we have been asking Aramis Ayala tough questions about who is funding her fight against the death penalty. When I learned that the elected official here would be speaking at an event last Friday night, I waited around hoping she would chat.
Excuse me, Miss Ayala?
Yes, how are you?
Good. I was just wondering if you had a second to talk to our reporter, Mike DeForest, out front.
I'm gonna meet with the people who I'm here to see and make certain that they get the priority since they've invited me. If I get a moment, I'll be happy to speak with them.
It appeared as if State Attorney Aramis Ayala was finally going to answer our questions about how she's spending taxpayer money on her lawsuit against the governor. After this 3-hour banquet in DeLand where Ayala talked about her opposition to the death penalty, she emerged around 10:15 p.m.
Hey, Miss Ayala. Hey, I'm Mike DeForest with Channel 6. Haven't had a chance to meet you yet. Do you have a few seconds we can chat?
What you got for me?
Well, we can either talk right here or we've set up a nice area that's lit over here. Take 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Unfortunately, I got kids. We're here way late tonight. I know you didn't expect to be here this night.
I know, but you also know we've been trying to ask questions of your office for quite a while now, and we're not getting answers, ma'am.
I think you have gotten answers. I don't know any questions you haven't really gotten an answer to.
Well, I've got a long list right here.
2 weeks ago, I emailed Ayala's office a dozen questions. Among them, how much will the litigation cost? Is any private third party helping pay for it? Why did she hire a public relations firm? And what is that PR firm doing? I received no response. So then I reached out to Ayala on Twitter with those same questions. Again, nothing.
I want to be very respectful, and that's why I want to hope that we could just take 5 minutes.
Be respectful and answer your questions. Whatever questions that you have, we are happy to answer them.
As you can see, I've been trying to request an interview with the state attorney for nearly a month, but so far she's avoided my questions about your tax dollars.
A big one is about the funding for the lawsuit with the governor.
What question for the funding?
Who's paying for it?
At this point, you're asking several questions like there's other people paying for it. There are no private entities, no third parties. No one is paying for it. We haven't made any payments, and I'll let you know when we do.
I have a lot more, and I don't want to bother you now, but I just wish you would have taken.
You set up the meeting, we'll talk.
I've tried to set up the meeting, and it's not happening.
We will make it happen.
So the very next day, we once again requested an interview, this time, though, with a deadline. Just hours ago, Ayala emailed me saying that because we set that deadline, she will not speak with us. Now, the state attorney did explain why she has hired her own lawyers to fight the governor, but she's still not saying how much those lawyers will cost her or you.
All right, Mike DeForest, I know you will stay on this for us. Thank you very much.
In just a few short hours, crews from the city of Orlando are going to be right here where I'm standing at the Las Vegas Convention Center. They're going to be here setting up the Family Assistance Center with lessons that they learned from the Pulse nightclub shooting of last year. Meantime, that University of Florida student, she's in the hospital just a few blocks away from here. She says on Sunday night she heard 2 rounds of what she thought were fireworks. When she heard the 3rd round, she realized she'd been shot.
And after the 3rd time, most people were on the ground or running. And after the 3rd time was when I felt something hit my back. I felt something hit me really hard, and then I felt something splatter on my back. So I thought it was either like somebody's drink, or it kind of felt like a paintball or something like that. I didn't think it was a gunshot. I laid down on the ground, and that's when he finally noticed, and other people did too, the gun wound on my back.
Did they tell you?
Mm-hmm. They didn't see.
What did you think? What goes through your mind when you're told you're shot and you're coughing up blood?
Am I gonna die?
Continuing our live team coverage of the airport standoff tonight, we're hearing from a witness who watched it all unfold.
She was inside the terminal and recorded some of the chaos. News 6 reporter Troy Campbell joins us now live with her story. Troy?
Well, Lisa and Matt, this is Dory. She works at the airport, and I had just heard her story. So, of course, I want you to give us, again, in detail what happened to you. So you were actually in the bathroom at the time. Take me through it.
I just came out of this bathroom right here. I heard yelling. I thought it was just a customer yelling at a rental agent. And I saw people started running around, dropping suitcases. So I'm like, oh, this is a little bit more. So I started walking back into the bathroom, and then I thought about the pole situation. I didn't want to get trapped in the bathroom. So I came back around, actually to this corner right here, and to basically leave the situation, but then I saw the guy right there, and I just kind of froze. I didn't know what to do. The guy had the gun to his head, telling the cops to shoot him, and yeah.
So the videos that we've been airing, some of your videos here on News 6, those were filmed from right here. You were standing right.
One of them was from right here, and so the cops kicked us out, and I went back there, and I had another shot from a different view.
And then what can you tell me about how officers spoke to you when they let you know it was time to get out of this area?
Oh, they just like, get out now. Like there was nothing. They would want to make sure everybody was safe. They did a really good job.
I was standing out there, and we saw two swirls coming this way, and they kind of converged at the same place and went over the top of us. And that's all this.
How's your home doing? What kind of damage are you looking at?
The shed roof is gone. The neighbor's roof penetrated our roof. His living room roof is gone. Her roof is gone. His carport is gone. Yeah, there's a lot of damage.
We know many of your neighbors evacuated before the storm. Why did you choose to stay?
Well, this is a brand new home. We've only been in it for a couple of months. And these are all rated for 150 mile an hour. And we had plans to go, and then she decided she wanted to stay, but I think we're going to go up to the clubhouse now because it's a hurricane shelter.
Do you know of any of your neighbors that live around you, or was anyone else home? Do you know were there any
still in there?
Tonight, an unusual update to a story. Women from Tampa to Miami are telling News 6 that a Palm Bay groom who claims to have cancer played them all.
Weeks ago, the man's friends called us to cover a special wedding. Lost loves reunited. The groom had just weeks to live, we were told. But as News 6 investigator Mike Holfeld found out, that's not the whole story. He has been digging into this, and he joins us with more. This is unbelievable, Mike.
All I can tell you is my head is spinning. I've never seen anything like it. Hi, everyone. Ken Boyer's friends tell me he is inspirational, a man with stage 4 cancer defying the odds. But after the story of his wedding aired, we started hearing from women who say Ken Boyer loved them all and conned them all.
It was a tale of long-lost loves reunited.
Yes, I surely will.
The groom told his softball teammates his cancer was terminal.
I've had a really good life. God's been good to me. And if this is my time, then it's my time.
The story made headlines in the New York Daily News and the UK's Daily Mail. But as the couple sealed their love with a ring and a kiss...
He's very good at what he does. Very, very good at what he does.
And
it's an art.
What does he do?
Master manipulator, con artist.
A tale of an alleged romance runaround suddenly emerged.
He loved every single one of us, and he loved us all from the second he laid eyes on us.
It turns out Ken Robert Boyer allegedly professed his love to a lot of women and told them all he had stage 4 cancer.
I was his Jamaican princess.
That's Cheryl Alvarez. We caught up with her on Skype Monday. She says the two met on singleparentmeet.com. She stopped hearing from him just a few weeks before that May 1st wedding.
This man has a way with words.
She says there were flowers, a hotel rendezvous, talk of marriage, and then the red flag, a motorcycle trip from Miami to the Keys.
Mike, he rode his bike. There was 5 hours to the Keys and 5 hours back. Somebody that's going through liver cancer stage 4 cannot do that.
But it was Barb Jones of Brevard County who the women say is the biggest victim. He called Jones the landlady, an old woman who ran a boarding house.
Well, Barbara was the lady he lived with.
Jones is suing Ken Boyer for $22,000, money she loaned to the man she thought only loved her.
I think because he's so used to doing this and has gotten away with it for so long that it now becomes natural.
Now, Boyer did text me saying, "I'm not denying that they know me. I've dated them all. Nobody said anything about weeks to live. We're done with this." For the record, according to his 20-year-old daughter, he said he wouldn't make it to his birthday. That's June 4th. That's a few weeks away. He refused to offer medical proof of his cancer diagnosis. Our investigation just getting started.
So
Lisa?
bizarre.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
we obviously covered the wedding here on the news. He conned his friends, it appears. They're the ones who said you've got to cover this.
That was an unexpected plot twist for sure on our end.
I think he's in big trouble tonight from a lot of people.
New evidence tonight in the story behind the groom who claimed he had terminal cancer.
Barbara Jones-Leiden says she's convinced Boyer used her to pay for his lifestyle and love affairs. She sat down with News 6 investigator Mike Holfeld.
You thought you'd found your soulmate?
We just got along so well.
Barbara Jones-Leiden wants the public to know she was in love with an alleged romance con man.
But he not only stole my heart, he stole a lot of my hopes and dreams. Besides the money.
The money? $22,000 she loaned to 60-year-old Ken Robert Boyer to pay for what he claimed were cancer treatments.
First it was the kidney, then it was the liver, then it was miraculously cured, and then there was a lull.
She has the canceled checks and a promissory note, but no actual medical bills. Now she's filed a lawsuit to get all that money back.
So the illness was an act, or was it real?
I don't, to this day, still don't know.
Will you give her a promise?
Yes, I will. Yes, I surely will.
What we do know is Ken Boyer was supposed to have stage 4 liver cancer that day he married his long-lost love in Palm Bay, Florida. The story and his will to live became an internet sensation.
It's tough for me to have to accept this, but I have. I'm ready. I've had a really good life. God's been good to me, and if this is my time, then it's my time.
That was 24 days ago. Since then, News 6 has uncovered a romance subplot. Allegations by women from Miami to Tampa, all claiming Ken Boyer was dating them. There was even talk of marriage, they say. They all connected on singleparentmeet.com. Boyer's own cell phone bills confirm he was in contact with all of them. Ironically, Barbara Jones-Leiden, the woman he was living with here, paid that phone bill every month.
He's just a very selfish man. It's hooray for me and screw you. That's his motto.
In a text to News 6, Boyer writes, "I'm not denying that they know me. I've dated them all. I do not intend to justify any of this. Why should I?"
Did he con you?
In hindsight, yeah.
News 6 has confirmed Ken Boyer and his wife, Michelle Kimbrell, are now living in Farmington, Missouri, on land Boyer owns. As for his medical prognosis, that remains unclear. Our investigation continues. Mike Holfeld, News 6.
Now, Boyer's 20-year-old daughter, Hannah, tells News 6 her father claimed he would not make it to his next birthday. Ken Boyer turns 61 on June 4th.
Tonight, new video messages obtained by News 6. They reveal how a man used his alleged stage 4 cancer diagnosis to convince Central Florida women to date him.
So the women who spent time with this guy call him a con man now, and now you can see what he said to fool them all. Here's investigator Mike Holfeld with the new info.
Remember the self-proclaimed cancer groom, Ken Boyer?
This is my time, then it's my time.
News 6 has uncovered new video app messages sent in mid-January to a woman Boyer met online 4 months before he said "I do."
I'd really love to come and see you. I could use a friend today.
Boyer is claiming the cancer is starting to take a toll.
I collapsed on the field and ended up having to tell the guys.
The guys were his softball teammates, the one you see at that wedding ceremony.
So he was playing the cancer card to get a date with you?
Yes.
Sympathy?
Yes.
Is that why you agreed?
Yes.
Her name is Annie. She says there was one date, dinner, a movie, that's it. So what finally convinced her to go out with him?
I just got my results. It's growing faster than I thought it was.
This Marco Polo video app message, sent from what appears to be a bedroom. You can hear a TV in the background as he shares what he claims is dire medical news. But at the same time, he asks for a date.
It's spreading really fast. I'm not sure what else could be done. I just need to be next to you.
Annie was too nervous to face the camera, but she wanted to go public in case other women had fallen for Boyer's alleged con.
Have you seen the wedding video?
I have.
What did you think?
That he's just a con artist.
But just a few weeks ago in his hometown of Missouri, a tanned and defiant Boyer refused to talk about his cancer with Inside Edition's Lisa Guerrero.
Scorn women, that's all they are. They never gave me a dime.
Yet News 6 has confirmed Boyer cashed $22,000 in checks from his first Florida love, Barbara Jones.
Yes, I was very convinced he was dying.
She wrote this IOU. Boyer signed it, but to this day, he's never paid a dime. Now she's suing.
He knew this wasn't a gift. He knew this was a loan.
Veteran criminal attorney Jeff Golub says Boyer's claims of cancer could meet the legal standards for defaulting on a loan and fraud.
I think in this case, her testimony is, look, he told me he had the cancer, that's why I was lending him the money, and it turns out he doesn't have cancer. I think that stands as fraud, and I think that makes a good case.
Despite our request, Boyer has never produced medical evidence of any cancer. Our investigation is just getting started. From the newsroom, Mike Holfeld, News 6.
Okay, so Boyer is arguing that money was a gift. His attorney has requested an additional 20 days to reply to the lawsuit, and this one is just like an onion. The more you peel away,
unbelievable. And the more we do a story, the more women Mike Holfeld seems
they just
to
keep
find
on calling him
who have similar experiences. Yeah. Incredible.
That's wild.
Dude, that's bad.
Convicted con man who scammed people out of more than $1 million is out of prison, living in Central Florida, and you will not believe what he's doing now.
Investigator Mike DeForest is breaking this big story tonight. And Mike, this guy has a long history of fraud.
Lisa, Michael Nelson has spent more than 15 years in prison for scamming people in California, Illinois, and here in Central Florida. Now that Nelson is a free man, we wondered what he's been up to. We did not expect to find him doing this.
My name is Reverend Michael Nelson.
In these YouTube videos, Michael Nelson introduces himself as the senior pastor of Global LGBT Life Church.
So I pray anointings and blessings upon everyone.
According to Nelson's website, the religious organization helps LGBT couples transition into marriage.
Make a tax-deductible donation to us.
Like many other churches, Nelson seeks money for his ministry.
Even if it's $5, $2, $50, whatever you want to donate. We live off your donations.
But before you click this donate button, you may want to hear from federal prosecutors.
Mr. Nelson is a serial con man who we don't believe has been deterred.
Michael Nelson has spent more than 15 years in prison for bank fraud, computer fraud, and identity theft. He's posed as a lawyer, a banker, and a business consultant, scamming victims out of more than $1.5 million.
You're not a lawyer, are you, sir?
In 2003, News 6 tried to question Nelson about a phony law firm he was running, but his bodyguard helped him avoid our cameras.
You were a con man. They called me a con man.
Now on probation for some of those crimes, Nelson tells me he's sorry.
You're a changed man? Definitely 1,000%.
No more cons?
No more cons.
Not ripping anybody off?
Not ripping nobody off.
They can trust your church?
Oh, definitely.
About that church. This photo on Nelson's website shows what's described as a Hanukkah celebration in the main sanctuary of Global LGBT Life Church. But I discovered the photo is actually from the Facebook page of a church in Minnesota. Nelson's website also includes photos of this sanctuary, which happens to be the New Bethel AME Church. We drove past it on our way to Nelson's home, where he broadcasts his sermons. The photos of the church aren't your church?
No, they are a church that we have permission.
That's not true, says the pastors of those other churches. Then there's this slideshow on Nelson's church website illustrating his work as a humanitarian. But he could not tell us who these people are or why he was there. Where are you in that photo? It's a simple question.
I don't remember because I've spoken in numerous places.
After studying clues in the photographs, I discovered Nelson was actually visiting a local employment office. These job seekers have absolutely nothing to do with his church.
Please share your donation with us.
By downloading the mobile app for Global LGBT Life Church, you can donate even easier. I reminded Nelson that while under supervised release from prison, he must provide his probation officer with access to any financial information.
For the record, so that is clear, we've raised no money.
That may be true, but according to the church's website and GoFundMe pages, the ministry has raised more than $292,000.
Does your probation officer know about your church here?
Does he know that I work with the LGBT community? Definitely.
Does he know you have the website?
We've never had that discussion.
The chief U.S. probation officer for this area would not tell me what, if anything, his office knew about Nelson's church prior to my investigation. He says if his office became aware of any criminal activity, they would report it to law enforcement. Lisa and Matt.
Wow.
Great story.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions for you, including, is he a real pastor? Is this a real church that people attend?
In fairness, we are not in a position to say yes or no. The Internal Revenue Service determines whether an organization is a tax-exempt church. An IRS representative told me they could not specifically discuss Nelson's so-called church.
All right, good story. Mike DeForest, thank you very much. Appreciate it. In the days leading up to the one-year mark of the Pulse tragedy, we're taking time each night to recognize the hope that followed the heartbreak. Tonight, bonded by the unthinkable tragedy, the Orlando Gay Chorus in Central Florida came together last summer.
Yeah, however, this chorus didn't always feel that love throughout its near 30-year history. In fact, quite the opposite. Still, the group sang on, and this entire year it has been front and center. News 6's Jamie Say reports.
But I see your true colors shining through.
Their shows are a labor of their love, a celebration of the joy of singing.
So don't be afraid.
The Orlando Gay Chorus has been performing for 27 years. Since day one, this group has been challenged because of the gay in its name. Debbie Drobny is a 10-year member of the group. She remembers.
And they actually wanted them to say, can you just go Orlando Chorus? Absolutely not. You know, the whole point of the Orlando Gay Chorus is to say, you know, there are gay people in the community and it's okay. It is completely okay.
Watching our social media, you'll get some homophobic comments of, you know, why do they have to be here? Why does it have to be gay? It's so empowering to change people's perspective by coming together as a group unified behind one voice.
The group's resolve to perform had never been tested like it was last June, following the tragedy at Pulse.
How personal did that feel?
This is my people, this is my community. Like, this is what we do with OGC. Like, we represent the LGBT community.
Pulse was the first all-queer, safe space that I ever walked into when I was about 18, and it was the first room where I could ever just be openly gay.
We talked about OGC being a family, and our community is just a larger family. So when we were attacked, it was all of us.
You take it all you can bear. The chorus acted immediately, giving raw and emotional performances. The first of nearly 100 outreaches in the year following Pulse. The chorus answered the community's call over and over again.
One of the things that I like to say about the chorus after the events on June 12th is that we've kind of become ambassadors of love, hope, and healing. It was just so beautiful, and it was so true.
The chorus's mission to change perspectives and attitudes has come a long way. This year's increased visibility has helped, but there's still work to be done.
I would say once you're done listening to our music, please also listen to our words. Listen to the words of not only us, but everyone in the LGBTQ community who is trying to convey to the public what struggles we're going through right now.
And the Orlando Gay Chorus will continue to stand front and center and sing with joy, purpose, and pride. Aren't they good? The chorus is made up of over 100 men and women, gay and straight. In a typical year, the chorus does around 15 outreach concerts, but as I reported in the story, it's done over 100 this year. Ginger, Matt?
And they have really healed this community. Jamie, thank you. And there is so much heart in this community. We are trying to capture as much of it as we can on a special section of our website. You can find tonight's story and much more on clickorlando.com/pulse 1 year.
Live, getting results. This is News 6 at 11.
What'd you do it? Where have you been hiding? What did you say?
They got him. Marquis Lloyd, the man wanted for killing an Orlando police officer and his own pregnant ex-girlfriend, is captured.
I was extremely happy that this dangerous person was off the streets.
They will sleep better knowing tonight that I'm going to describe this individual as this maniac, if you will, is off the streets of our community.
And you're looking live right now at where it all went down, a neighborhood, an abandoned home, the manhunt over, and the investigation just beginning. Good evening, I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. For 9 days, this community has waited and asked, when will Markeith Lloyd be caught? Tonight, it finally happened. The news breaking around 7 tonight, Orlando police making the announcement with this tweet, the word captured across his mugshot, with the tweet reading, "We've got him."
At this hour, Lloyd is inside these walls. Sky 6 live over Orlando Regional Medical Center right now, where Lloyd is being treated for injuries from the arrest.
We have team coverage tonight. Troy Campbell is at ORMC. Vanessa Ariza is in the neighborhood where Lloyd was caught. But we begin with Nadine Yanis, live at Orlando Police Headquarters with the latest on the arrest. Nadine?
Well, Lisa, like you said, it's been a long 9 days. Chief Mina says many of his officers 24/7 working around the clock, not eating, not sleeping, not even leaving their patrol cars looking for Lloyd. He says some of them even skipped out on Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's funeral this weekend. He says those same officers wept as they put her handcuffs on Lloyd tonight. It was around 7:30 tonight when an almost unrecognizable Marquis Lloyd was brought into the Orlando Police Department.
They beat me up.
Yelling, "They beat me," through his swollen, bloody lips. An hour later, Chief Mina makes the announcement he's been waiting to say for 9 days.
As you know, Marquis Lloyd has been arrested.
Police say Lloyd was found in an abandoned house in the Carver Shores neighborhood. He tried to escape out the back through a sliding glass door, but was confronted by officers and scoured back in. Coming out the front door wearing body armor, throwing down 2 guns, one with a 100-round magazine on the ground.
He was taken into custody. He did resist arrest. He does have some facial injuries, and Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's handcuffs were placed on him.
Chief Mina says the first phone call he made was to Lieutenant Clayton's husband, Seth.
I told him about the arrest, and he was relieved and happy, but also upset to know that he was arrested right around the corner from Deborah's mother's house.
Sheriff Jerry Deming says the capture was bittersweet, just as he buried his deputy Norman Lewis yesterday.
This community certainly has been emotionally impacted by the set of events during the last week, and so I believe that our entire community is going to breathe a sigh of relief at this point, because they will sleep better knowing tonight that I'm going to describe this individual as this maniac, if you will, is off the streets of our community.
Though bittersweet, this was the moment they were waiting for. Marquis Lloyd coming out around 9:30 this time with bandages around his face. Mumbling again, "They beat me," as he shuffled to the police car headed to jail. Did you want to say anything to Lieutenant Clayton's family? So Sheriff Jerry Deming says tonight they're already writing up the charges to charge Lloyd with first-degree murder in connection with his ex-girlfriend's murder back on December 13th. And you can imagine more charges will be coming in connection with the death of Deputy Norman Lewis and Lieutenant Deborah Clayton as well. But at least for tonight, their families have some closure. guys.
Yeah, a lot of charges on the way, Nadine. Thank you. And here is where Lloyd spent his final moments hiding. An abandoned house. Now the focus of the investigation. You can see investigators and officers at the front door there. The same door police say Lloyd tried to use to escape. The house is on Lescott Lane. That's just off Raleigh Street near Carver Middle School. That's where we find News 6's Vanessa Ariza live tonight. Vanessa, Chief Mina says good old-fashioned police work led his officers there.
That's right, Matt. Now, as far as the details that led officers and the SWAT team to this house behind me, Chief Mina says they are not discussing that at this moment in time. You can see investigators are still here at the house. They have been inside. They have been outside. Within the past couple of minutes, the crime scene truck just left the scene, but they have been taking what look to be like very large brown paper bags outside of the house, presumably evidence that may possibly help in this case. Now, also here at the scene within the past hour and a half or so was Lieutenant Clayton's nephew. He tells me that this arrest is what the family has been waiting for.
My aunt just got her justice. You know, that this guy that everybody's been looking for is finally off the streets.
Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's nephew, Jarvis Grant, was at a basketball game when he got the news of Marquis Lloyd's capture.
The part that got me the most is when they told me that they arrested him and put her cuffs on and brought him out the house.
Lloyd was hiding out in this house along Lescott Lane. For how long? That's unknown. What shocks Grant the most is that his grandmother lives just down the street.
To me, it's unbelievable, just seeing just how close he actually was to all of us. And like, it's just unbelievable he's right here. It doesn't make me angry that he was this close, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm just relieved. I'm happy.
News of the arrest is a relief for Grant and his family, but he says it's a loss that is going to take time. As for any words for Lloyd, Grant says he doesn't have any, but he does have an idea of how his aunt would react right now.
I'm sure she'll be happy. She'll be happy that a guy like that is no longer on the streets.
Now, while that story was just airing, 2 police officers' vehicles just came out from beside the house, and the caution tape is coming down. It looks like they may be done with Lloyd's house or this house that Lloyd did come out of earlier this evening for the time being. Now, we also had a chance to talk with a neighbor in this area. She said that she wasn't home at the time, but she, like a lot of people in this area, are happy to hear that Lloyd has been captured, that he has been arrested. She said since this manhunt has been ongoing, she has gotten a license to conceal. She's also gotten security cameras. And what I thought was interesting, she said that her dogs that she has, they usually don't bark, but she said for the past couple of days that they have been going crazy. And what really scares her, she tells me, is that she had kids who were playing in this street earlier today, all the while, presumably, Lloyd was inside of this house. So as you can imagine, not only her, but neighbors in this area are very happy to hear that he is in police custody tonight. Matt.
A lot of people happy to hear that. Vanessa Ariza live for us. Thank you. Lloyd's arrest not only brings closure to Orlando Police and the Orange County Sheriff's Office, but also to the family of Sade Dixon.
Yeah, you'll remember weeks before the murder of Lieutenant Clayton, police say Lloyd shot and killed his pregnant ex-girlfriend at her parents' home. The murder happened just days after video was shot showing Lloyd and Dixon during a doctor's visit getting a sonogram of their unborn child. Mike DeForest spoke with Dixon's family tonight. He's live outside their home on Long Peak Drive in Orange County. And Mike, I imagine they especially are relieved tonight as well.
Very much so. Now, keep in mind, according to police, this is where Markeith Lloyd's murder spree began. There are still bullet holes around the front door there where police say he gunned down Sade Dixon and their unborn child. But right behind that door tonight, the family is celebrating.
One of the officers called me and said, I got him.
At first, Sade Dixon's family simply could not believe the news. The man accused of killing their daughter and her unborn baby and severely injuring their son was no longer prowling the streets. Tonight, they're celebrating that police captured him alive.
Killing him wasn't going to bring justice. That's quick and easy. He needs to serve, for his crimes. And that's why we have a justice system.
Surrounding the urn now holding their daughter, the family has placed photos showing Sade Dixon as they will remember her.
Her legacy lives on. She has 2 boys, aged 2 and 8, and we're grandparents that have to raise the grandchildren as our own. So that's the burden that we have to take on.
The family is grateful to the police officers who put their lives at risk to capture Marquis Lloyd and the 2 officers who lost their lives doing so.
I'm sorry for Officer Clayton, Officer Lewis, their family. Send my condolences. I know it's a big relief off our family, and I'm pretty sure it's a big relief off of theirs too.
Sade Dixon's family says that they have not slept since December 13th when those bullets started flying right here outside their home. They've been fearful that Marquis Lloyd might come back here, but tonight they tell me they think they will finally get a good night's rest. Matt and Lisa.
I would imagine so. Mike DeForest live for us. Thank you. Now, roughly 2.5 hours after police caught Lloyd, they hauled him out of headquarters. His face, you can see it here, almost entirely bandaged up. And then they put him back into a squad car to be taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center. Sky 6 is live over the hospital right now where Lloyd remains and is being treated for those injuries to his face. Troy Campbell is live there for us on the ground tonight. Troy?
Well, Matt, essentially at any moment we could see Lloyd coming out of the doors here at the emergency room at ORMC. We saw him being taken out of Orlando Police Headquarters with those bandages around his face. Now, once Lloyd gets to jail, his charge list, it's expected to show 2 counts for first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 2 counts of aggravated assault, along with a list of other charges. Also, once at the jail, he'll join several of his friends and family, including his former boss at the fast food restaurant he worked at, Zargi Mayan. Now, Mayan, he's charged with helping Lloyd with money while he was out on the run. He has a hearing tomorrow where he's going to ask a judge to give him bond, saying that Lloyd actually held him against his will and forced him to help him. Now, also locked up is Lloyd's niece, LaKentra Smith Lloyd. She's also charged with helping him escape capture, including picking up $200 for him. Investigators said last week she did know where her uncle was, but simply refused to tell detectives. Then there's Lloyd's ex-girlfriend, Jamis Slaughter. Now, she's in jail after investigators say she drove her car around that Walmart where Lieutenant Deborah Clayton was killed. Orlando police later revealed Lloyd's clothing was found near that Walmart, but it's unclear if she was driving around in that area to try to pick up those items for Lloyd. And also at the jail, Lloyd will join his son, who's being held there on an unrelated charge. And again, we're just waiting for Lloyd to finish receiving medical treatment here at ORMC before he's brought to the jail. Matt.
Troy Campbell live for us at ORMC. Thanks.
Joining us now to talk more about the arrest of Lloyd is our legal analyst, Stephen Kramer. We want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. So where do we go from here? Marquis Lloyd is now either being questioned or taken to jail. Where do we go from here in this case?
Well, he's going to make a first appearance. One thing's pretty certain. He's not going to be getting bond. He's not going to get out of jail from this point. And then after that, he'll ultimately be arraigned, and then you will see a trial down the line.
We heard earlier tonight Orange County Sheriff outlining 5 charges that he's going to be facing just in the December 13th incident where he's accused of killing Sade Dixon. We don't know yet how many more charges he will be facing. So how does that all play out? I mean, is this just going to be one arraignment, or could we see multiple arraignments?
It's potential you could see multiple arraignments, and ultimately what they decide to bring to trial, you know, that remains to be determined. Whether they want to throw the book at him and throw every charge that sticks, you know, I don't know. I think we've got some very serious charges that, you know, are collectively enough to put him away for, at the very least, his life.
We heard from Orlando Police Chief John Mina earlier today saying that this was the result of a lot of great police work, not a tip, which kind of surprised us all. Will we learn more about that great police work during the arraignment, or when will we start getting more of these details?
I don't know that we're ever going to get those details. I mean, the fact is, the police, they don't want to reveal the secrets of the trade. They don't want us to know how they found this guy. They want to keep those tools close to their vest so that the next guy, the next bad guy that presents a danger to the community, they can find that guy. Now, if I was to speculate how they found him, I think they followed every lead possible. They went to the guys and the people that knew him. They went to the friends. They went to the family. They went to the associates. They built a dossier on him, and they found out, where is this guy? Where does he hide out? Where has he been? And that probably is what led him to this house. And if you notice, the chief chief said that he had ties to this property, that somehow he was related to it. Maybe it was owned by a friend or had been a hangout or a hideout from before. So, but that's only speculation.
Whatever they did, well done to them. Stephen Kramer, our legal analyst, we appreciate it. Well done to you.
Thank you, guys.
And all through the manhunt, we showed you as many different pictures of Lloyd as we could. Different haircuts, different profiles, different views that would hopefully lead to justice. And tonight, 3 more pictures emerged. A digitally altered picture of Lloyd with a clean-shaven head that nearly matches the look of Lloyd when he was caught tonight. Shorter hair, but now with a bloody face. Then as he was walked out of OPD tonight, an even different look. Lloyd bandaged up as he was taken away to the hospital.
And tonight, the scene where Lieutenant Clayton was murdered also filled with emotion upon the news of Lloyd's arrest.
Our co-anchor, Ginger Gadsden, went to the Walmart at Princeton and John Young. And Ginger, you talked to some people there who actually knew Lieutenant Clayton pretty well.
Yeah, they were moved by what happened. One of those people was a Walmart employee who said Lieutenant Clayton was a regular there. We went back to the scene where much of this happened, the Walmart where Clayton was gunned down 9 days ago. We saw several people stop by the memorial to pay their respect to Lieutenant Clayton. One Walmart worker says Lieutenant Clayton was a regular who always offered a warm smile. The other was a mom who thought it was important to bring her little girl here to see the sacrifice Lieutenant Clayton made for her community.
I respect the officers. I have a great deal of respect for those that go out every day and protect everyone in the community. And so that was very sad.
Everybody was happy, and we came outside, give the officers a hug, and told them nice job. We're just happy that he's caught.
Yeah, and that worker you just saw there put fresh flowers on the memorial and told me she was taking care of part of it to make sure it stayed fresh and looked nice. She said it was the least she could do for someone who gave her life.
An emotional night there.
Agreed.
It really was.
Nice of officers to tell them, too. Thank you, Ginger.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, thank you, Jesus. That is the reaction tonight from Deputy Norman Lewis's family after speaking with our reporter Troy Campbell. The Orange County motorcycle deputy died in a crash while working to set up a search perimeter for Lloyd after the shooting last Monday. Lewis was laid to rest in his hometown of Port Charlotte yesterday.
Our coverage of the arrest of Marquis Lloyd continues right now on clickorlando.com. We walk you through the whole timeline of the investigation, plus our legal analysts offer some more insight on the case against Lloyd. It's all right there, right now, on the homepage.
Our other big story tonight, the wife of the Pulse killer is about to head back to court. What happened today in court and what her uncle has to say about the charges, that's next on News 6 at 11.
If you're just joining us tonight, the manhunt is over. Police have caught Markeith Lloyd, the man wanted for killing an Orlando police officer and a pregnant mom. They captured him around 7 tonight, his face bloodied as he was taken into custody. Investigators say he was caught at this abandoned home in Carver Shores on Lescott Lane. Police say Lloyd was wearing body armor and had 2 guns, including one, you can see it right here, with a 100 ammo drum. Lloyd was later taken from OPD, banged up, to Orlando Regional Medical Center. That's where he is right now. We'll have a live update on the investigation in just a matter of minutes. Tonight, the wife of Pulse nightclub gunman Omar Mateen is getting ready to go back to court.
Noor Salman was arrested yesterday on charges she helped her husband plan the attack and then lied to investigators about her involvement. Salman faced a federal judge for the first time today in California. Federal prosecutors said the couple bought ammunition and scouted out locations, including Walt Disney World, for their attack. Salman's uncle proclaimed her innocence to our Eric Sandoval earlier today. Tomorrow, Salman's new attorney is expected to ask the magistrate for bail so she can get out of jail and see her kids. We will have updates on tomorrow's hearing all day on News 6 and on clickorlando.com. Our Eric Sandoval is in Oakland, California, getting the very latest on that.
Chief Meteorologist Tom Searles joins us now. We're going to have some fog in the morning?
Yeah, kind of like we did the last couple of mornings, and probably right in the same spots. Okay. Take a look at the weather story for tonight. It's great right now. It should continue to be great for at least maybe 4 more hours. Then fog sets up late tomorrow, even warmer than today. And as we head through the rest of the work week toward your weekend, that's when the rain chances begin to really kick in. Temperatures right now have tumbled. We hit a daytime high today of 81. Right now we're at 66 in both Sanford and Orlando. Radar has not changed since earlier this evening. You see the sweep coming through, a little speckle or two down there off the coast of Brevard County. That's about it. Water vapor for tonight. Okay, you see the bright blues and the whites. That's the increase in moisture. That's on the way. We're loading up the atmosphere, priming the pump, and getting ready for a cold front to get here by the weekend. Come take a look at this, though. Big pockets of fog are beginning to form already there and there. Look, out at the Cape, visibility is down to 0.8 of a mile. So there will be areas that have a whole lot of fog to greet you tomorrow morning. Most of you will not have a fog out, but between 5:30 and 8 a.m. is when it should be at about its worst. There's a bullseye there, one there, a couple here, there, and yonder. Little areas of fog. Be ready for that. Meteorologist Candace Campos will be in for Troy Bridges tomorrow morning. She'll track that fog through the morning hours. By, say, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, that fog's all out of here. We'll deal with a little bit of cloud cover through the day, but again, look, no rain all the way into Thursday. We're still doing pretty well. A little more cloud cover and still no showers. Overnight lows tonight, 54 in Ocala, 59 in Leesburg, 64 in Cocoa Beach, and the overnight low right here in Orlando tonight will be 60. Here's tomorrow.
Your forecast brought to you by Del Air Heating and Air Conditioning.
Kind of like today, the fog gets out of here early. By noon tomorrow, 78, the daytime high is 82. Here's the week ahead. 82 is the daytime high tomorrow. Come Thursday, warm. We do it again, fog early, then really sunny and warm. Friday, 80. Saturday, 80 with rain chances in the afternoon. And then a big cold front comes in late Sunday. We will be so much cooler Monday and Tuesday. Sleep tight, neighbors.
Tom, thank you. When we return, an update on tonight's major story, the arrest of Marquis Lloyd.
The suspected cop killer is no longer a wanted man, captured tonight after a 9-day search. A live update on the investigation next on News 6 at 11. We continue to follow breaking news, the arrest of Marquis Lloyd, the man wanted for murdering an Orlando police officer and a pregnant mom.
We have crews covering every angle of this developing situation. Let's check back in now with our Nadine Yanis, live outside Orlando Police Headquarters. Nadine?
Well, Lisa, tonight, Orlando Police Chief John Mino couldn't help but smile after they captured Marquis Lloyd. He told us in that moment he was happy, relieved, and proud of what he called good old-fashioned police work that led to this arrest. Now, News 6 was here as Marquis Lloyd was being brought into the Orlando Police Department around 7:30. He was almost unrecognizable as he yelled, "They beat me up." Chief Mino says Lloyd did resist arrest after trying to escape an abandoned home he was hiding in Carver Shores neighborhood, a home that was only around the corner from fallen Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's mother's house. After a couple of hours of questioning around 9:30 tonight, Orlando police shuffled out a newly bandaged Lloyd. Again, him yelling to us reporters that they beat him up before he head to jail. Now, Orange County Sheriff Jerry Deming says tonight they are already writing up the charges against Lloyd in connection to the December 13th murder of his ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon. And you can imagine that more charges will be coming in connection with Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's death and Deputy Norman Lewis's death as well. But for tonight, our community can breathe a sigh of relief. Back to you.
Yes, it can. Nadine Yanis reporting live for us. Thank you. And at this moment, we are waiting to learn more about what police found at that abandoned home where Lloyd was caught.
Yeah, police tell us Lloyd was arrested at the abandoned house on Lescott Lane. The chief says the house has ties back to Lloyd's past associates. The house is in the Carver Shores neighborhood just off Raleigh Street. Vanessa Ariza is there live for us tonight. Vanessa?
Matt, within the past 30 minutes, investigators with Orlando Police Department just wrapped up. They took the caution tape down here that was blocking the street. They were inside of this house for a good amount of time. They were inside, they were outside, they were taking pictures outside of the home. I saw them bring out what looked to be like large brown bags, presumably evidence that may help in this case and the investigation. Now, like you were saying, as far as who owns owns this house. That is unsure right now. We are trying to track that down and see how that connection is made with Lloyd. We also are trying to find out how long he was here at the house. We had a chance to talk with a neighbor. She said that her kids were actually playing in this street earlier today, so that frightens her, knowing that he was here and so close to her children. But we haven't gotten a direct answer as far as how long he was here. That neighbor did say that someone who she does know who came over to this house actually did see him out here a couple of days ago. So if there is validity to that, he was here at least for the past couple of days. Now, also out here at this scene earlier this evening was Lieutenant Clayton's nephew. He said he was at a basketball game when he got the news. He rushed over here. I asked him if he was upset knowing that Lloyd was so close to where his family, his grandmother was. He said, you know what, I'm not upset. I am happy that he has been caught. I am happy that he has been arrested. He said, my aunt, right now, she would be smiling. Matt.
I would imagine she would. Vanessa Ariza live outside Lescott Lane. I would imagine also tonight, Vanessa, that neighborhood pretty peaceful tonight, pretty quiet out there this evening?
It is. And you know, it's interesting. The neighbor who I spoke with, she said for the past couple of days, she's the one who had the kids who were out here on the street. She said she was fearful for her children and for herself, for that matter, out here. She said after she learned the news of the manhunt, she went and bought security cameras. She went and got a concealed to carry weapon. She, interestingly enough, said her dogs, they usually don't bark, but she said they have been barking nonstop up until he was taken into custody today, Matt.
They knew.
Yes, they did. Vanessa Ariza live for us. Thank you.
And of course, we are going to continue to follow this story as we find out who owns that house and whether more arrests will be made. We break news on ClickOrlando.com.
Morning news starts at 5 a.m. Have a good night.
Good night.